Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is September 4th, I believe. Maybe it's the 5th. I think it's the 5th. Live from New York, New York. This target individual, CJBK. It is, I believe it's now about maybe 9, 10. Yeah, probably somewhere around there. Anyway, so a couple of things happen and are happening, and I feel like I need to pretty much go over them again. So I'm gonna start with what I'm experiencing now, right? So right now at this moment, I have I have a headache, but it's also, I have a headache right now, but it's definitely being induced by direct energy weapons or scalar wave technology, because what's happening is the headache. So the headache, as you're looking at me straight forward like this, the headache, it's on this side of the head, right? But primarily it's focused more towards the memory processing area, or towards the portion of the brain where memory is being processed, right? And I tell people that these frequencies, they're not undetectable, they're not impossible to find. I literally can take my hand or take my fingers, right? I could take my hand or my fingers, either one. Well, your fingers are on your hand. But anyway, I could take my hand and I can hold it over the area where I'm feeling pain at, right? And I can feel the thermal, I can feel the heat of the frequency beam, because it's light. We're talking about light. Most of the time, okay, so you're getting attacked with both audio frequency, which is mostly referred to as infrasound, basically frequency sounds that you can't necessarily detect through normal hearing. You probably have to use a spectrum analyzer or some type of infrasound recorder to be able to detect these frequencies, right? That's just for the sound. The other way that we're being attacked is basically the use of near infrared lasers. So basically you can take a near infrared laser and find a specific frequency and amplify it, or you can modify, or I think it's amplify the frequency, so that once you find the resonance of a particular cell or tissue, you can either heal that cell or tissue, or you can actually cause that cell or tissue to heat up from the light itself, where it gets to a point where either the cell starts to deteriorate over time, or you can basically use the tech to basically erase, or what is it? Not really erase, but block, nerve impulses or transmissions of signals and stuff between neurons and everything. Basically, they can change the function or of how your nerves interact with each other, or the neurons interact with each other. Now, I'm not 100% sure how to explain how they basically create the headache that I have right now, but I do know this. I'm gonna pause for a second because I want to be able to show you exactly what I'm doing, right? All right, pull over here. It's funny because whenever I have to call Amazon driver support, they're like, "Hi, this is Amazon driver support. Are you pulled over?" And I'd be like, "Nah, I'm still riding." But anyway, so okay, the headache, it's like right here. Right here is a part of your let me see. I believe like right here is where your memory processing portion of your brain is at. And then I believe your auditory cortex, where you process sound, or your brain process sound, is somewhere either down here or up here, I forgot. But so basically what I'm doing is I can take my hand and hold it over the area, right? And just slowly move it back and forth. And then at some point, you'll be able to feel like as if someone took like a very thin, like imagine someone get a straw, right? Someone has a straw and then they're blowing their hot ass breath over your hand. That's what it feels like. And it's a beam. It's a beam. So it's like you don't feel it over your entire hand. As you're moving your hand over, and this works on just about any part of your body that they're attacking. As you're moving your hand over the area where you're feeling the pain at, you will feel that thermal presence of like a beam of something connecting to your body. Not only just that, if I were to, let's say, if I get it to a point where if I could get the beam concentrated like between my index finger and my thumb, like, let's see, like right here. So right now I have the beam, like, because the beam, you can move it around. Like it's basically like, even if you grab it, you're not necessarily going to pull it off of you. What you're basically doing is you're changing the angle for which the beam is, you know, it's still going to be connected to you, but you're changing the angle. Like it's like, imagine taking a rope and you have the rope tied to like a pole or something, and then someone else is on the other side holding the other end of the rope, and you just grab anywhere in between the pole and the other person, and you just basically taking the rope and you're just moving it around like this. Now, as I'm moving it around, I can feel the pulse, and what actually even feels like, not even just a pulse, but it feels like nano particles, or like tiny like particles of energy are going through that beam, and it's going through my hand. Now it's still connected to my head. I still feel the presence of the beam, but what I also noticed is, as I have the beam in my hand, right, and I'm moving it around, it like, so there are some moments where if I'm like okay, so like right now, right, if I go up like this, it feels like something is pushing my hand down, as if like I'm moving my hand against a current of like water or something like that. And then as I'm trying to pull my hand up, and the energy of the frequency is pushing my hand down, it feels like something is it's like something is overlapping over my knuckles, going down towards the palm, towards my palm. Then you know, if I let it go, if I try to like get rid of it or something like that, it doesn't really go nowhere. It literally just stays connected to you. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is, okay, I've only been targeted since, I've only been really feeling at least noticeable pain that, you know, I can attribute to them. I don't know what they've been probably doing to me before October of 2020. So, and then now that I'm doing this video, they're modifying the frequency to a point where it almost feels like something is like growing inside my head, almost as if like, if there was like, if it was like, imagine like someone trying to fill up like a water balloon or something like that, something like this, like a ball, and it's growing inside, and it's like creating pressure inside my head right here. That's what I'm experiencing right now. You know, and you know, my lady, she, you know, she's experiencing it, and then I was actually happy for the fact that like she didn't automatically think that nothing was wrong. Well, she didn't automatically think that something was wrong with me or whatever, because, you know, like I told you, she knows a good deal about, you know, certain things that, you know, that's wrong with our society. She knows certain things about, you know, American history that's just, well, let's just say a lot of things were orchestrated to give, what's the word? A lot of things are orchestrated in this country or around the world, pretty much, that gives people some type of, I don't know, power or whatever. Not really even sure how to call it. But anyway, so yeah, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, if I can actually, and I never even thought about looking into that, doing research on that, is, can you actually feel a light frequency? Can you actually feel one? You know, so that's something I need to look into. It's like, let me see, what number am I looking for again? That's Third Ave. Let me see. I think I'm somewhere close. But anyway, hold on. I'll be back. Gotta make some drops. Yeah, I realized I was at the wrong block. But anyway, so yeah, so it's basically like I think what they're basically doing is just heating the cells in my brain. Like, they're heating it, because while they're doing that, there's this weird thing I realize I can do when they're doing that, is when I exhale through my mouth, and only through my mouth that I notice this, when I exhale through my mouth, there is like this weird, strange heat difference that comes out from, like, let's say, I know the heat is not coming from like the oxygen or the carbon dioxide that I'm exhaling from, like, you know, my lungs. It's not coming from my lungs. Like, I don't know. So if I show you, so it's like, it's like when I open my jaw, it's like when I open my jaw at a certain degree or angle, there's this like, it's like heat coming from, it's not coming from my lungs, it's coming from my head itself. Yeah, it's not coming from my lungs, it's coming from my head. So whatever is happening, and I remember reading something about biophotomodulation, and it talks about how it's basically the use of near infrared light, and it carries out a specific process of oxidization or something like that. So I don't know if they're like basically or oxidation. I think it's called oxidation. It's like they're basically like, I don't know, it's like they're heating the water molecules in my in my brain or something like that. And then I think that's what basically makes you feel like you're having a headache, especially if you ever feel lightheaded or anything like that. And then at times I get these weird bouts of like vertigo, or and it's weird because whenever I do that, sometimes it relieves pressure. Like, it literally relieves pressure in my head. But yeah, I don't really know. I mean, only other thing I'm thinking is like probably trying to do a little bit more research on materials that I could probably find, and then actually make a helmet, or maybe make something that I can put inside of my helmet, or something I could wear over my helmet to, basically, like, I don't know, maybe you can disrupt or block or maybe even reflect the frequency. I haven't figured out what actually can reflect or block near infrared, lasers, because they can basically change the amplification of the laser, so then so that it could penetrate through particular layers. Yeah, there's that. And then let me see, 1 second, let me make this delivery. Yeah, so that's that. I'm just basically muscling through it, or not really muscling through it. Well, I guess you can say, because anytime I move like my eyebrows or I don't know, it's strange because it's like raising my eyebrows up and down seems to create a little relief from the pressure that's building up in my mind, or the pressure that's building up in my brain, or something like that. Don't really even know how to articulate it, really. But yeah, so I love the fact that I already like pretty much know how they're doing it. I might not know how to explain everything in great details of how they're doing it, because obviously, I'm not an expert in technology or anything like that, but I am aware that they're using near infrared lasers to harm people, and they're using infrasound to harm people. Then what I'm also realizing is favoritism. They are choosing who they decide to harm, who they decide to kill, and who they decide to heal. They're choosing who they decide to save, who they decide to basically give, basically they're choosing who they decide to give, supreme health, I guess. And it's fucked up, but hey, this is the world we live in. They're calling themselves trying to depopulate the world and make life what's the words I'm looking for? It's like they're trying to make life a luxury for some and torment for others, and it's sad because most of the I'm beginning to realize most of the violence that's pretty much in most advanced parts of the world, I would say it's being induced by people who are using this technology to modify people's brainwave activity. To think you can actually transmit a frequency that will make someone angry for no reason. To think you can basically transmit a thought into a person's mind, and when they're unaware that thoughts can be transmitted into their mind, they think it's their thought. Then next thing you know, they don't try to really fight the fact that it's a thought being, fixed in their mind. So now you have someone actively choosing to act on a thought that wasn't even theirs to begin with, yeah, all of this, I can't. I really hope that before I'm going from this world. I really hope that before I'm going from this world, I get to see the fall of this whole entire system. Now, I'm like, I know I can't do anything myself personally about this system, but I do know one thing, though. Evil can't hide in darkness for too long if everybody who is of light is basically shining their light on the whole situation. The more people be quiet about it, the more they get away with it. You know, I mean, it's basically like it's like a digital holocaust. It's a digital cyber. It's like a cyber holocaust. It's eugenics in the most technological way, and it's being done secretly against people's will. You know, people who didn't ask to be modified in any way, shape, or form. It's just being done to them, right? You know, whether you're benefiting from it or not, did you ask to be modified? Did you request? Did you know that someone can modify you in that sense? And it's like, no, it's going against people's wills, you know, and it's also not just going against people's wills, but it's also pretty much making people feel as if like they don't have a choice. And technically, you don't have a choice because they didn't give you a choice on whether you wanted this stuff to be happening to you in the first place. But hey, this is the world we live in. So, yeah, I gotta stop on somewhere. I think it's 2:05. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so yeah, I just did a delivery for, well, the customer name said Tessa Thompson. I was like, I wonder if that's actress Tessa Thompson, but it's whatever. Anyway, they didn't come to the door. Most of the time I don't ever like knock or whatever, but I was like, nah, I want to see. So I did my normal knocked on the door, but nobody answered. I didn't hear anything on the inside. I was like, damn. Because I was like, Tessa Thompson, that's like one of my favorite, you know, celebrity actresses and whatnot. So, but anyway, so now that's basically how I know the difference of when I'm having a natural like pain development or ailment in the body compared to knowing that it's an actual frequency, whether it's a sound or if it's near infrared laser frequency that's being directed on me. But so now yesterday this part is interesting because it was a culmination of a bunch of different things. So all right, where do I start? I went to the beach. I went to the beach yesterday, and me and my lady, we both went to the beach, and we were late with meeting up with one of my friends. I feel bad, because we definitely could have left a lot sooner, but I guess we were distracted or whatever. But anyway, so not only just that, my lady, she was like, well, there's this friend that I known for some time, and it's been a long time since we've seen each other, and she wants to see him just to check on him and whatnot. Now, okay, I know there's a lot of guys that's probably hearing this. She got an old friend that she want to see, and I'm like, look, like I told you, as being a master protecting my peace, I can only control what I can control. I'm not in the business of controlling people. I'm not trying to control, environments or anything like that. I can only control myself. That's all I really have energy for, is controlling myself. I may be able to influence, but I have no no interest in trying to control anybody or tell someone what they can and can't do, you know. But for the most part, we were at least like, you know, going to see this person, you know, together, you know. So, yeah. So not only was, you know, he gonna be there, come like meet us at the beach, but he also brought like a relative of his. And I also met up with another TI that I, you know, at least known for possibly over a year now. And he has some pretty good ideas about what he wants to do as far as raising awareness. I'm trying to see. No, that's not the building I'm looking for. But yeah, he has some pretty good ideas about what he wants to do to raise awareness about gang stalking and like, you know, the technology that's being used on us, and, you know, basically talking about how the Augmented Society is creating a like, it's already bad enough that there's an economic, you know, disparity. So they're on top of the economic disparity. Oh wait, I think I just went past it. But I'm chill right now. I'm pretty much just like doing whatever. Here, I'll just go around here. But yeah, this was the building I was supposed to go to. But yeah, so I met up with the TI, and interesting enough, when we finally get like it took us forever to finally get together. Like, I told everybody, let's all meet at 12:30. We didn't all really meet up until damn near like 2:30. But yeah, there was a number of different things happening. And I know, like, he told me while he was trying to get dressed and, you know, head out so he could meet us, he was getting attacked, and, you know, I'm getting attacked at the same time. My lady's getting attacked. You know, everybody was getting attacked before we could all actually meet up. Fast forward a little bit. Some interesting things was happening with this, you know, friend of hers. Like me, I kept my cool the entire time. I'm like, look, I have no choice but to trust. But I do know this though, even though I'm trusting, I'm also acknowledging the fact that, hey, if my trust is violated, I can leave. I'm not gonna be one of those people that like literally like, you know, oh, we can work this. No, fuck that. You break my trust and that's it. I'm done. You know? So, yeah, let me do this and I'll get back to you. So, yeah. Yeah, and, you know, I was trying my best not to allow, like, even though, you know, when I met up with TI, funny thing was he had no intentions of really ever getting in the water. He thought that, you know, we were just gonna link up just so we can, you know, I guess talk TI stuff. And I was like, nah, man. I'm like, fuck all that. I'm at the beach. I'm trying to chill and forget about targeting and all that. But, you know, it was cool. So when we linked up, you know, we've met up plenty of times before, go out, have some drinks, get food, stuff like that. And it was cool, right? He tried to leave too. Like, he was like, he's like, you know, we could just meet up another time, you know, because I really just wanted to just talk and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you're not going to come all the way from, you know, where you live at just to turn around because you don't want to get in the water. I'm like, bro, we got, you know, we got some drinks, we got food, you know, there's music, there's, you know, fun in the sun. Like, come on. So I eventually convinced him to stay, because I was like, yeah, I'm trying to kill multiple birds with one stone. I wanted to get me some beach time, you know, hang out with, you know, an old friend, and hang out with my lady, hang out with a TI, then also meet this guy that he, you know, she supposedly knew from way back from when and whatever. So I wanted to, you know, I wanted to enjoy the day, and I was like, man, nah, you were a part of my plan, so we all gonna hang out. So eventually he stayed, and what's interesting is like she kind of already told me that like, you know, at some point in the past he did like her, and I don't remember if she told me that, you know, if they ever did anything or whatever, but hey, that's old news, you know, because I mean, you can't stress over something that happened in the past, you know. You're supposed to just basically focus on the present, right? So presently, I'm with her, you know, so anyway, yeah, things got a little iffy for my friend, you know, my friend that I've known, you know, for some years, and she's very protective of her energy. I don't think she's targeted or anything like that. Yeah, she's definitely not, because I remember, you know, she got wind from another friend of ours who basically doesn't believe in targeting and stuff. He thinks I'm losing my mind or whatever, and she's worried. And you know, people always act like they're worried when you're talking about what's happening to you, even though you don't seem crazy, but you're basically articulating as best as you possibly can what is happening to you. You're doing your best to articulate what is happening to you, and you're doing your best to live your life as normal as possible. But yet people still want to act like they're concerned, but they don't want to actually look into what you're talking about. I find that, you know, I try not to take it personal, because it's one of two things. You're either a gaslighter or someone who's already in the mix to basically cause confusion and make people believe, make people not believe you or whatever. And then there's the people who just can't necessarily fathom the thought that people would go to such lengths to destroy someone else's life, you know. But like I said, I can't. I can't control that. I can't control what a person do and do not want to believe. Even if you're presenting the facts to them right before their face, you know, you can't force nobody to drink water if they don't want to. You can't lead a horse to the well and force it to drink water. So it's just like with this whole Augmented Society thing, you know, everyone is drinking this Kool-Aid, right? It says Kool-Aid on the bottom. But if you peel that label off, there's a whole other hidden label right under that label that says poison. I mean, think about it. We are organic, like we are multi something, I forgot what it's called, but we are multi-organisms. You know, we're natural. Like everything about human beings is supposed to be natural. Our spiritual energy is natural. What they're doing with this technology is they're basically changing everything that it is to be a human being. So at some point, we're going to come across a time where there are no more, or probably a reduced population of 100% human beings, because there's so many people who are augmented right now. I mean, honestly, you know, it's weird, the whole talk about, you know, reptilians and you know, spirits and all that type of stuff. It used to sound far-fetched to me. It used to sound extremely far-fetched to me. I'm just like, no way. But the more I get into this stuff and the more I start to watch people and analyze how they move and, you know, pay attention to my energy crossing paths with someone else's energy, it's like it starts to become a lot more believable. Like it's starting to become believable, because it's like, why would someone really want to change their DNA? Why would someone really want to actually like change everything about them? You know, is one thing to actually fix something that was broken or something that was damaged in you. That's one thing. But to actually modify your body just so that you can be, you know, an advanced version of yourself, which takes away your natural state. It's like anything with this technology that they're doing, it's taking away from you more than it's actually giving you. And then I'm thinking, well, they're basing their entire life on technology. How could you base your entire life on something that can be hacked? A hacker gets hacked. The government gets hacked. Anything that's electronic is getting hacked. They're trying to push the entire economy to this like cashless society, and you know, everything has to be some type of biometric, or you know, like right now I heard what they're trying to do in New York City is with our public transportation system. They're basically trying to change it so that, you know, you can't get on the trains or the bus unless you have some type of you know, like a credit card or something that has the chip, and it, you know, gives, and it tells people, it tells whoever, you know, is receiving, well, I guess the cloud, exactly where you're going, and you know, who you are. And I guess that's their way of trying to see if they can surveil the public transportation system from, you know, terrorism. But yeah, let me do this and I'll be right back. So yeah, everything's getting hacked, and they want to push everything into more of a paperless, you know, technological society. So I'm just like, am I the only one realizing the more we push ourselves to being all about technology, the more likely we're actually hurting ourselves even more? I mean, to be honest, I believe people are losing more money and having, you know, things stolen from them a lot more since we started moving into this, you know, everything digital, everything, you know, all about credit cards or, you know, a chip or whatever. The moment when we started doing all that, I feel like we started taking a nosedive. Yeah, it supposedly made our lives simpler in some way, shape, or form, but it also made it easier for people who have nefarious dealings to do what they do. And then if we're doing all this to basically so-called make our lives easier, then what's happening with the balance between right and wrong? What's happening with, you know, some people who actually supposed to be, well, enforcing the law? Like, I mean, quite honestly, you know, I believe in a Robin Hood complex, like the original Robin Hood complex, you know. Take from the rich and you give to the poor. I believe in that. I don't believe in basically just robbing somebody just to rob somebody. You know, especially if it's somebody that somebody who basically has just about as much money as you, or somebody who like works really hard for their money, and you know they bust their ass for the money, and they're not showing off. Like, they're basically just trying to make ends meet. But you got people out here who are condoning stealing from people that's in the same situation or the same boat as you. Like, how you gonna like I don't know. It's terrible, because it's like, if I have $5, right, and you got $5, we both living and trying just to make life work with the $5 we have. All of a sudden now, you're like, bump that, I want his $5 too. But then you're gonna look past the guy who got about $300 in his pocket, but you want my $5. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. It is what it is, though, you know. And the handlers, the operators of the tech that's over my nervous system, they operate with the same thought and intentions as the people who would have the $5, just like you have $5, but they want my $5, instead of actually going after the person who has $300. That, you know, there's a systematic fear that they don't even realize what they're like, you know, and, you know, basically taking a part of. They would rather hurt someone who already don't have a lot. They would rather try to control somebody who already don't have a lot. They would rather try to take advantage of somebody who already don't have a lot. They would rather cause harm and abuse people who are already oppressed than to actually go after the oppressors. But you know why they don't go after the oppressors? Because the oppressors are feeding them. So that's why I call them basically, they're I want to call them bitches, honestly. Because it's like how you got all these capabilities, all this technological capabilities, but yet, you know somebody's child just got snatched up. You know this woman over here just got raped. You know this child just got molested or something. And because you have this all-seeing eye technology, you've seen this shit happen. But you're not going to do anything. But yet, you want to fuck with the person who actually reported the person who raped somebody, or you actually want to destroy the person who is trying to defend the child because the child was hurt by some adult or whatever. It's like they would rather go after everyone who has a moral compass about anyone who has conviction or a moral compass about them. They would rather go after them. And quite honestly, man, like, look, I'm gonna take the long way. I could have just turned over there, but I'm gonna go the long way. But yeah, quite honestly, they don't get no respect from me. They're like, oh, he don't have no respect for secret society. Fuck you. I'm like, and I try not to curse so much in my videos, but it's like, how you got the nerve to talk about, oh, he don't have respect for secret society, but y'all are basically creating these psychopaths out. Y'all are literally creating them. You're creating situations for people to actually become the monsters that we see on the news. They're literally using technology to affect the brains of people, the minds, the thought processing and everything, that basically turns people into the monsters that they are. And the worst part is they don't even realize. They don't even realize that they're being manipulated. Because then by the time they finish doing the act, at some point they're sitting there like, yo, I have no idea what came over me. It was just like, I seen them, and the next thing you know, wow, like, I don't know. Like, I really don't even remember why I was just that angry. It's just something came over me. And it's like, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who are, manipulating the minds and souls of like very, very innocent people who did not need to be, attacked in the ways that they're being attacked. But you know what? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. What am I looking for? I'm pretty much chilling because this is my last supposed to be my last delivery, and my head hurts, honestly, because they've been like focusing this beam on my brain for quite some time today. I think I gotta go to, hold on, I was going the right way. So normally my girl, she texts me and asks if they sent me another route. I hope they don't, because my head hurts. I mean, granted, I did do some drinking, but my head isn't hurting because of I did drinking the day before. No, it's not that. You know the difference between a headache from drinking and then a headache that is, ooh, the door is open. You know the difference between a headache from drinking and then a headache that is basically being induced due to direct energy weapons. Hold on. So, yeah, just finished my last delivery, and they got me scheduled till 10:30. But for the most part, sometimes they'll send me an extra route, because there's supposed to be 4 routes in a day. My original schedule would be 4:30 to 12:30, but I think while it wasn't too busy, or maybe they're just trying to manage their hours and whatnot better, because I don't know, maybe they have too many people that's making too much work time. I don't know, whatever the case may be. So anyway, I don't think I've really finished the whole story with the beach experience, right? So back to the beach, right? So, yeah, we're at the beach now. I kind of peeped dude, when I seen him at first. I was like, okay, he looked like somebody like, he looked like somebody I grew up around, So like he looked like he from the hood. He looked like he from the hood. So I'm like, all right. So, I don't make like preconceived notions, but it's like, it's like I kind of just like, it's not like how do I say it? I basically know it's almost like I don't want to say I assume. Huh? How much I make a day?
Yeah, I don't know the hour.
Oh, a day? I don't know. I never really think about it as far as the day, because the amount of stops and the amount of stops I get per route window. So it's like a 2-hour window. So you could get anywhere between 3 deliveries, or you could get up to 9. And that's 2 hours. You got to do it. And then it also varies between like how much that customer ordered, because you're basically getting like a percentage from like when they tip. You're basically getting a percentage of whatever their total charge was when they order online.
Yeah, but the slowest days, how much? And the busiest days, how much? That's it. In a day.
In a day, I couldn't even.
About full day in a day.
I couldn't even tell you about the day because it varies. I could tell you about a week.
Okay, a week.
So, I really only work 4 days a week, and I make at least between 460 to about 520, and that's just from 4 days. And I get paid $16 an hour. How many hours? So, what? Probably like I work an 8-hour shift. Yeah.
5 days, 2 days off.
I mean, I only work 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my checks are anywhere like between like 670 to about. I start 4:30 to 12:30.
So you like me morning shift?
Yeah, but if you want, they have various times you can start. Like you can do like 6:30 to 12:30, or if you want, they have 12:30 to 8 p.m. or they got two.
I'm a morning guy. Like
your morning, yeah. If you want the name of the company, it's called Dutch X. You can find them on Indeed.com. I'm pretty, yeah. Look on there, and I mean, it's easy, bro. As long as you got a smartphone,
X?
Yeah, like DUTCH X. Yeah, and they give you your bike. You don't even need to use your bike. And they give you the trailer. They give you the bins. Yeah. So they should be hiring right now, because as it starts to get colder, people start to drop off. Because like Nobody want to work in the cold. So yeah, if you want to apply, do it now. See, I'm a good guy. I help put people on, whether he could be a gang stalker or not. You know, I operate on a godlike frequency, so I'm not worried about what somebody could be doing. I just do the right thing at all times if I can, or when, you know, I try my best to when I can. You know, so like I said, you know, I'm operating in this world with as minimal fear as I possibly can, because that's what they do. They're fear mongers. But anyway, so yeah, like, dude, he gave me some pretty decent vibes or whatever, but I kind of already know, like, you know, certain things about him. Like, she told me that, you know, he went through a lot in his life and whatever, and you know, whatever. So, all right. Now, at some point, while we're like at first he was like, you know, they're not gonna like get in the water. Him and his relative, they said they weren't gonna get in the water or whatever, you know. And then when we met up with them, you know, they was already drinking. You know, I was going, you know, shoot, me and my friends, we was like, we gonna wait till we get to our spot in the beach and start. But they was already, you know, doing some drinking, right? Now, something weird that I couldn't really put my finger on it, but something weird was happening, right? He finally decided that he was going to get in the water. Like, he decided he was going to, you know, go in his boxes. Like, same thing I would do. Like, if I didn't have no swimming shorts with me, I would definitely get in the water in my boxes. But anyway, then all of a sudden he just started doing this thing where he gets in the water and then he starts like acting like the waves are knocking him off his feet, and then trying to act like he's drowning. But he kept doing it. Like, it wasn't like a playful, like, I'm falling, but he just like kept doing it. And I mean, like, several times. So now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, now people at the beach have already been watching us. They already see that, you know, we're a group that just got there, and, you know, we're basically like, you know, we're drinking on the beach, but who isn't really, you know? And then now he comes over and he's just like, you know, he's basically like, I don't know, acting like he's drowning or something, almost like he's trying to do it on purpose. So me being a person that I am, and I'm a pretty decent swimmer. I wouldn't say I'm a strong swimmer, but I'm a decent swimmer. So I'm like, let me stay by this dude, because I don't know what kind of stunt he pulling, because he kept acting like he was about to drown and whatnot. So I'm just like, I don't like this. You know, this doesn't feel right. Not only that, you know, my friend who I known for years, she's getting like these bad vibes from, you know, him plus his relative. You know, like, I don't know, like she's getting this feeling like, you know, he's pressing her too hard or whatever. Like, and me and her, like, going to the beach, that's our thing. Like, you know, I invited my girl because, you know, she needs to, like, you know, I don't know, I felt like she needs to get out more or whatever, and not really worry about the targeting. And, you know, she didn't, you know, she gives her son to his father for like the, you know, the weekend or whatever. So I'm like, you know, I wanted her to relax, and she went with us before, so it was cool. The first time she came out with me and my friend to the beach, right? Then now, let me make sure. Okay. Then now she invites, you know, these other two guys, but I don't know these two guys, so I don't know what kind of energy that they're bringing. Now, I mean, they seemed okay. They seemed okay to me. Like, one dude, he told me he's a Pisces just like me. So me and him, we were cool. And then the other guy, he seemed cool. But then I think at some point, when the liquor started working on the guy that she knows, you know, I don't know, maybe whatever he was going through, it started to come out, you know, whatever. And then at some point, you know, I brought the dude back to the back off out the water. I was like, yo, let's go take a rest for a minute, you know, whatever. Go get some water or something, because I'm like, maybe he's just been drinking a little too much or whatever. So we come back, right, and then at one point, you know, some other beachgoer came by and gave him a bottle of water because he thought he was like passing out or something, but whatever. And no turn signal. I hate to see a car that turns without putting a turn signal on. But so now we're basically, he's like, yo, I want to get back in the water. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back in the water with you, but try to stay above the water, you know. But as we're walking back to the water, all of a sudden, no, before we even leave the water, I tell him, and you know, the crazy thing is, I'm like, bro, I know what you're doing. And he's like, yo, who told you? And I'm like, bro, I know what you're doing. And I was like, you don't gotta do this, bro. And then all of a sudden, he was just like, you know? And then he didn't really say it out loud, but all of a sudden he was just like, you know? So I'm like, why he keep doing this? I know he's taller than me, so he shouldn't be falling over and shit like that, like almost as if like he's trying to make it seem like he's drowning and I'm letting him drown or some shit like that. That's why I said, let me stay by this dude, because I don't know what kind of stunt he might pull, because I don't know him, you know? And, you know, and then the handlers right now, they're like, Chris, you have no idea. You don't know nothing about secret society. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care, you know? So anyway, yeah, so I'm basically with him, and then there was this moment where I think at some point before we go back into the water, he's like, yo, look at your girl, man. Just look at her, marvel at her, da da da. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And he's like, yeah, man, you know, that's a good one right there, man. I'm like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, but bro, I'm like, there she looked good and everything, but I'm with her for so many other reasons, you know. And, you know, whatever, I forgot. But he's like, yo, bro, I appreciate you. Cause like, even though you know, you still cool. Like, you know, I acknowledge the fact that you actually cool though. So I don't know if he was like trying to like low key tell me that he's, you know, that he's with this is, you know, the gang stalking and all that. Without like I feel like he might have been telling me without actually telling me. But at the end of the day, you know what? I gotta operate on a God frequency, like I'm telling people. You know, no matter what, I can only control what I can do. You know, I don't necessarily try to be malicious to. I don't try to be malicious to anybody, really. I don't. That takes too much energy. Too much energy to be malicious to people and shit. That's way too much energy. Yeah, so, oh shit. Wait, can I get to the other side? But yeah, I literally am just like, look, bro, whatever it is that you're going through or they got you going through, it's gonna be all right, man. And then at some point, you know, towards the later end of the day, my friend, she, you know, kind of got frustrated because the other guy kept like pressing on her, like, you know, like he was annoying her. So then at some point, she just like looked up at me, packed her shit up, and she was like, Chris, bye, and left. Like, that's the first, like, I you know, I could tell when my friend gets upset, you know, and she's a Leo, so yeah, she just excused herself from the whole thing, and I feel bad because I'm like, damn, like the beach thing, that's like our thing, like, you know, that's what we do. We go to the beach, you know, during the summer times, and you know, that's how we vibe, you know, that's our thing. But then now I was just like, yo, well, I can't put it on me about what happened because, pardon me. Yeah, I can't put that on me about what happened because, one, I didn't know those two guys, and then two, yeah, I can't control them, you know. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. But you know, the guy who was, you know, the TI I linked up with, he did stay for a bit. You know, he had a good time. I'm glad he stayed because, you know, I would have hated the fact that he came out all that way to just like go back home, and I'm like, nah, man, like you need to like really just chill. Like we could have fun, whatever, even if you don't get in the water, you know. But he stayed, and you know, we had a good time, whatever. And yeah. Now, funny thing is, me and him both was noticing all the gang stalkers. We was noticing all the people part of the Augmented Society, including when we went to this spot by the beach called Rippers. There was a guy that was working inside of Rippers who basically he had glasses on, whatever. And all right, man, be easy. You know, he basically kept looking over at me and the TI, and then he starts whispering something. He starts whispering something to one of the cashiers, and then next thing you know, the cashier then starts looking at us funny, and then next thing you know, she then goes over to somebody else and start whispering to them something, and then next thing you know, that person starts looking at us funny. So I'm like, they're not even covert about it. They're just letting it be known that they already like are all a part of it. You know, they with the shit. You know. So, but anyway, I'm going home. I'll talk to y'all later. Remember, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.